Hi. Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Word Bible Study, a plain and simple, book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse study through the entire Bible. Currently, we are in the Song of Solomon's. And the last couple of sessions, I kind of did an intro to this book because this book deals with intimacy, okay? And it deals with an intimate relationship between a man and his wife. Now, later we'll see where Solomon is going to be identified. Um, and as I said before, it's so you could at the very least you could say if it's certainly Solomon, it's one of his uh, thousand women that he was involved with. Okay, we don't know which one it was. So my whole point is you can take it with that grain of salt there. Okay, but you can say it captures a moment. It captures this intimacy there. The takeaway for me is this: between a godly marriage, you see the intimacy, and that's why I read First Corinthians chapter 7 verse 1 to 3, where we are free to be intimate with within a godly marriage. We are free to be intimate within a godly marriage. So let's get into the Song of Solomon. Uh, and All right, here we go. So verse 1 says, Solomon's finest song. And he says, "Oh, that he would kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine." Now, for the most part, I'm going to kind of read the exchanges here. There's only 8 chapters. So, but what again, as we read this, you can see how free they are to express, and that they are free. Notice this: it is okay to want your spouse. It is okay to expect sexual gratification from your spouse, both male and female. Now, because we live in a male dominated world, women have been abused. Go all the way back to Genesis chapter 3. That's where it starts from. This sinful, excuse me, contamination in the world. The sinful contamination of what God created. So women have been abused. So not, in other words, women get married, and remember I told you what fornication. Fornication is the sinful, selfish, self-centered use of a person, place, or thing for one's own gratification. That dominates the world today. It still dominates the world today. In a biblical context, a biblical context, um, both, and this is what we're going again. This is what we're going to see with this story. So he says, verse 2, "Oh, that he would kiss me with the kisses of his mouth." This is a woman talking, right? For your love is more delightful than wine. The fragrance of your perfume is intoxicating. Your name your name is perfume poured out. No wonder young women adore you. Take me, uh, take me with you. Let us harry. Oh, that the king would bring me into his chambers. Now, this is one of the reasons why people, you can see, seem to be identifying Solomon. Okay, and this relationship is between Solomon and this woman. It says, "We will rejoice and be glad for you. We will praise your love more than wine. It is only right that they adore you. Daughters of Jerusalem, I am dark like the tents of Kedar, yet lovely like the curtains of Solomon." Now, let me stop. When you see this term here, I am dark like excuse me, the tents of Kedar. Um, She's not identifying herself racially. Now, some people try to read that into this verse here. Later, she'll say she's been out in the sun. So, not, in other words, this is not to be taken racially. My point is, she could be, but not by just this statement. So, in other words, the woman herself is not identified. Um, so, verse 6, do not stare at me because I am dark, for the sun has gazed upon me. So in other words, to me, if she was going to refer to herself in the racial sense, she would say her skin is dark. For example, the Bible does, for example, identify Ethiopians, for example, as dark-skinned people. My point is the race is not the issue. Remember, race as a concept does not come into human history. Actually, it's relatively young, just within the last 500 years. Anyway, do not stare at me because I am dark, for the sun has gazed upon me. My mother's sons were angry with me. They made me keeper of the vineyards. I have not kept my own vineyard. So in other words, they made her the brothers. It's kind of funny because you see her brothers made her work out in the vineyard, and that's she got dark because of being out in the sun. Verse 7, tell me, the one I love, where do you pasture your sheep? Where do you let them rest at noon? For I shall be like one who veils herself, besides the flock of your companions. Now, also, let me just say this: this experience is in the confines of a Jewish setting. Okay. Verse 8: if you do not know, most beautiful of women, follow the tracks of the flocks and pasture your young goats near the shepherd's tent. I compare you, my darling, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. Now, a man is speaking. Okay, so she spoke, and then now the man is speaking. I compare you, my darling, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. Your cheeks are beautiful with jewelry, and your neck with this necklace. Well, we will make gold jewelry for you, accented with silver. While the king is on his couch, my perfume releases its fragrance. My love is sachet from of myrrh to me. Spending the nights between my breasts, my love is a cluster of henna blossom to me, and the vineyards of Engedi. Engedi. Okay. Now again, you can see it gets quite. Again, you can kind of visualize the picture here. Okay. So now he's speaking. How beautiful you. How beautiful are you, my darling? How very beautiful. Your eyes are doves. How handsome are you, my love? How delightful. Our bed is lush with foliage. The beams of our house are cedars, and our rafters are cypress. So you see this exchange, okay? Um, chapter 2, verse 1. I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valleys. Like a lily among thorns, so is my darling among the young women. Like an apricot tree among the trees of the forest, so is my love among the young men. I delight to sit uh, in his shade, and his fruit is sweet to my taste. He brought me to the banquet hall, and he looked on me with love, sustained me with raisins, refreshed me with apricots, for I am lovesick. His left hand is under my head, and his right arm embraces me. So again, this is getting very, very close, right? Verse 7. Young women of Jerusalem, I charge you by the gazelles of the wild and the wild does of the field, do not stare or awaken love until the appropriate time. Verse 8. Listen, my love is approaching. Look, here he comes, leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. My love is like a gazelle or a young stag. Look, He is standing behind our walls, gazing through the windows, peering through the lattice. My love calls to me. Arise, my darling. Come away, my beautiful one. For now the winter is past, the rain has ended and is gone. The blossom appears in the courtsides. The time of singing has come, and the turtle dove cooing is heard in our land. The fig trees ripen its figs, and blossom vines give off their fragrance. Arise, my darling. Come away, my beautiful one. My dove, in the clefts of the rocks, in the crevices of the cliffs, let me see your face. Let me hear your voice. For your voice is sweet, and your face is lovely. Catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that ruin the vineyard. Um, Now, that's kind of a favorite uh, parable. The little foxes spoil the vines, I think the King James says. But you can see the context in which it was spoken of here. He says, catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that ruin the vineyards, for our vineyards are in bloom. He says, my love is mine and I am his. He feeds among the lilies. Before the day breaks, the shadow flees. Turn to me, my love, and be like a gazelle and a young stag on the divided mountains. Now, some of this we don't know if um, we don't know, I should say, uh, some of the language, okay, that's here, hidden language, okay. So you could kind of interpret it for yourselves. All right, chapter 3, verse 1. In my bed at night, I sought the one I love. I sought him, but did not find him. I will arise now and go about the city. Though the streets and the plazas, I will seek the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. The guard to go about the city found me, and I asked him, have you seen the one I love? I just passed him. When I found the one I love, I held on to him and would not let him go until I brought him to my mother's house, to the chambers of the one who conceived me. Young women of Jerusalem, I charge you, by the gazelles and by the wild does of the field, do not stir or awaken love until the appropriate time. Now, again, what I wanted to see is the how the intimacy is here. She longs for him. He longs for her. All right. Verse 6. What is this coming from the wilderness like columns of smoke, scented with myrrh and frankincense, from every fragrant powder of the merchant? It is Solomon's royal litter, surrounded by 60 warriors from the mighty Israel. So here we see that Solomon is identified as the person that she is, this relationship is going here. Okay, we don't know which one of the 1,000 women he was involved with that he's referring to here. Okay, if it's even referring to that. All right, verse 8. All of them are skilled with swords and trained in warfare. Each has a sword at his side to guard against the terror of night. King Solomon made a sedan chair for himself with wood from Lebanon. He made its post of silver, its back of gold, and its seat of purple. Its interior is inlaid with love by the young women of Jerusalem. Come out, young women of Zion, and gaze at King Solomon, wearing the crown his mother placed on him the day of his wedding, the day of his heart's rejoicing. Now it's kind of interesting because his mother would be Bathsheba. Okay. Verse 4. How beautiful you are, my darling. How very beautiful. Now, Solomon now is speaking. Behind your veil, your eyes are doves. The hair of your Your hair is like a flock of goats streaming down Mount Gilead. Your teeth are like the flocks of a newly shorn sheep coming up from the washing, each one having a twin and not missing one. Your lips are like a scarlet cord, and your mouth is lovely. Behind your veil, your brow is like a slice of pomegranate, and your neck is like the Tower of David constructed in layers. 1,000 bucklers are hung on it, all of them the shields of warriors. Your breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle, that feed among the lilies. Now, I want to stop because this is Solomon describing the woman. And I want you to notice the language. Notice feeding among the lilies. So that's why I said when we kind of get into some of the other more intimate parts, you could kind of maybe interpret or read between the lines what he means by that. But notice he's looking at her and he's describing her. He is getting turned on by her. He likes what he sees. Verse 6. Before the day breaks and the shadow flees, I will make my way to the mountain of myrrh and the hill of frankincense. Now again, he seems to be talking about this woman, not just an actual mountain here. Verse 7. You are absolutely beautiful, my darling, with no imperfections in you. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride, with me from Lebanon. Descend from the peaks of uh, Amana, from the summit of Sarah and Hermon, from the dens of lions, Hermon, from the dens of the lion, from the mountain of the leopards. You have captured my heart, my sister, my bride. You have captured my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How delightful your love is, my sister, my bride. Your love is so much better than wine, and the fragrance of your perfume than any balsam. Your lips drip sweetness like a honeycomb, my bride. Honey and milk under your tongue. The fragrance of your garment is like the fragrance of Lebanon. So they're getting hot and heavy, as you can see here. All right? Because how else would he know the sweetness of her lips or tongue? Verse 12. My sister, my bride, you are a locked garden and sealed spring. Your branches are a paradise of pomegranates with choice fruits, henna and nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all the trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, and with all the best spices. You are a garden spring, a well of flowing water streaming from Lebanon. Awake, north wind, come south, blow on my garden, and spread the fragrance of its spices. Let my love come to his garden and eat the choicest fruit. Now, again, this is, if you want to kind of read into what he is saying, um, okay, I'm going to say, um, um, now, let me also say this: when you kind of look at this language here, what there are some scholars that try to insert that this is referring to Jesus and the church. I don't think Jesus would get that graphic in terms of describing. Also, let me say this: that I certainly do not think that I certainly do not think that you can get into the discussion of the church as the bride of Christ, and is the actual church of Jesus Christ the bride of Christ. Um, and so, but I don't think you can make the case here for the Song of Solomon. Again, it is a love story. It is a central love story, and our takeaway is how free they are. And I think that's to me how free they are to express themselves. And watch it, in the safety of the God ordained marriage. All right, guys, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. Till next time, I'll see you then.